Warning, the following images and/or content may be disturbing or offensive to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This summer, 2020 was the worst, but one man will stand up against COVID-19 in 2021. The COVID Monster! In the most epic for this season, is the sanitizer!
So, warning! The opinions expressed by Plux the Fumbletongue, aka Nahkshon, your nightmare. Anybody who's intelligent enough to have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and a mouth. I speak only for myself. You may be offended. I mean you no harm.
Round 1. Ladies, go!
Tongue what? I'm back and I come to kick the rhyme a little bit. Off the top I show I'm ignorant, but I'm intelligent with spit and it. Just check when I'm back about to kill this ish. Improvise, I rise to top like cream of the crop, you ain't gonna stop. On the mic, device, and twice I give shouts to Marty and like, yeah, my mate got me back. We're killing it, we're friends. I'm gonna speak some truth, I don't mean to offend. I'm just them guys, there's nothing to say. I got a bit of a platform, I'm here today, so please take it in. No cognitive dissonance, that means don't ignore it just because I'm spitting this. Try and listen a little bit, because ignorance is when you deny something you know nothing about. Feel this ish. Let's get it started. Sorry, man.
Nothing offensive there.
What is the coronavirus?
What is the coronavirus?
It is a bad disease that's gone wrong, and it can cause pneumonia and all the rest of it. So it started off as being a very, very bad virus, and they say that it can kill people.
COVID-19. Spark of the conspiracy. COVID-19.
1 item per customer. Must knock off the memo. Disgusting, I trust them. Clubs and MRs in the shop, sterilizing steps homes. COVID, no shit. It's just real, my dude. Or it isn't, all the lizards invented it to infect you. Nature's revenge, or man's ill intent. It depends on which end of the spectrum you represent. Well, when batshit crazy, oh my god, like whoopsie daisy, biochemical attacks, or bats carrying rabies. Pay me in sanitizer, wet wipe and face mask. Stay past 1.5 meters out of my way fast. Don't ask for elbow bumps, let's throw elbows like ludicrous. Use a bit useless, kid, stupid shit, thick as mucus is. Seclusion god is losing shit, using shit like TikTok. Bitch, watch, just watch, lost a plot by 6 o'clock. Done been the weirdest conspiracy theorist. So it's biochemical warfare, for sure, yeah, you hear us COVID.
The reason public health measures work is because the public, for the most part, believes in them, trusts the science and the public health officers. That trust is crucial. Without it, people won't comply, and we know there are many conspiracy theories out there conspiring to erode public trust.
For police in Quebec, this has fast become a familiar sight. A cellular tower set ablaze. In 1 week, police responded to 7 similar fires, all targeting cell towers.
Into panic and madness.
Everybody, get on the ground. Nobody look at my face.
What? Fumble tongue. Welcome. Yeah. Late street, body me. Brains are roughed up and cuffed up and smashed and need a lobotomy. The robbery, walking, robbery, talking, gotta be the bottom feeder, rocket, you know, just pause and put pain. My poetry, I'm raw, so refrain, don't try going, I bend, blocker, motherfucker, drunk, high off that waka fucker. If I come on, kill him, hard, spill him, blood, seal it, large, peel him back to lasers, sprain up your yard, I'm real and plain, no delay when I start. What? When I'm charging up, I just jump in the corner, they gon' get stuffed. If they run, they're a corner, I'm on your yard.
to give it. You want it, you got it, you dishonor them, we got to give it. You want it, got it, you dishonor them, we got to give it. Take care of business, like who the hell is this? You want it, you got it, you dishonor them, we got to give it. You want it, you got it, you dishonor them, we got to give it. You want it, you got it, you dishonor them, we got to give it. Take care of business, like who the fuck is this?
If you speak fast, you speak so fast that you feel breathless after some time.
Velocity, I'm speaking that, speed, 16, that sound profound. When I speak, I'm a drown at the ground, put it down in the sea. Don't come around, pound for pound, can't compete. So blasphemy, and the rapidity, can't handle the cavalry, you feel the gravity. Coming to casualty, what you done is a tragedy. Ain't thugging at you, bugging, can't match with me. Scratch that, catch you like
Laters.
back, big slapping these haters. All these fools just party favors. All these fools just party favors. I believe in democracy. Do I believe that we really live in a democracy? I don't know, that's a bit of a different question, but you know, I don't have a lot of faith in it, to be honest, but that's just my
Scale of 1 to 10, during this or even now or at the worst point, what would you rate your fear level? Have you been scared of coronavirus at all? Definitely not.
Yeah, it's a C. When the chills down your spine, it's the O. For that old shit they lying, it's the V. For the virus we dying, it's the I. For if we make it out the other fucking side, it's the D. Conflict, nonsense, better bomb sick, come to the COVID. ISO, I go, psycho, bipo, all the Rico, suave and own it, no shit. Me and Jack reckon stand at the pinnacle. Citadel, Sinja, Pinja, revenge and the pitiful. The pitiful, beautiful change, suitably strange, stupid, I'm mute, I'm deaf and deranged. And a record of state, erected the same when vented the stain. Attempting to tame, reflections I've made. Redirecting my breath from the depth till I excrete flames. Came to kick ass and take names. Three bastards past your weight range. Diabolical, oracle, on and all and I won't change. With fame you get the bastard infected. Live and direct from the wet market. Thinking when age I get smarter, but I'm begging your pardon. I'm betting you couldn't handle the weather when the weather gets darker. Yeah, my father, what? Thumbs down, selector. One contest next, I'll wreck ya. Chin checker, Hannibal Lecter. Half man, half animal that you check for. Quarantined and isolated. Hide from neighbors, quite contagious. 5 cases of corona with lemon and I write these pages. Can't take it, of course you can't, I made it. Black COVID-19, what? This is COVID project, go get this shit, like what? Yeah.
We almost certainly will see cases here again, and that is not a sign that we have failed. It is a reality of this.
Immune to the vaccine.
Over there! Keep your head down!
Take no guff, no caps.
The chopper!
Here, just got your vaccinations. Oh yeah.
Your test was positive, sir!
It's bullets,
So, coronavirus. Do you remember the first time you heard about coronavirus?
Yes, I do.
How did you hear about it?
In the media.
Okay. What media outlet? Internet, TV?
TV.
Okay.
How did you hear about it?
TV.
TV? Okay.
Can you tell me when you first heard about coronavirus and how did you hear about it? Like what media outlet, that sort of thing?
Yep. I don't think I heard about it before 2020.
It's on the door! Got a bad case of corona. Hold the line.
You ain't getting past here, buddy. Not a chance. I'll tell you right now. You better calm your fall, little man.
Action. Kung Fu. More fight scenes. More action. It's sanitizer!
There's a difference between conspiracy and just what's happening in front of us. I think it's, we can get a bit confused with that. So, I mean, whatever's happening now is pretty full on. You know, it reminds me a lot of a zombie movie or something like this. You know, it's a bit out of this world. I was surprised that when this all happened, and it's sort of, it's only been on the news for a very short amount of time. We saw toilet paper going crazy, people. So you sort of watch these movies and it takes a little while for people to break down into, maybe not a government conspiracy, but there is a lot of money in a vaccine.
Yeah.
We are seeing people like Bill Gates pop their face up. These are money people. I watched a conference where we talked about that if we want to be a responsible country in the Asian Pacific, that we will then take the vaccine and give it to countries who can't afford it. That's money. They don't go and give that as charity. Vaccine costs money, and what they do is they go and give it to a country and then say, all right, we've just given you a couple of $1 million worth of vaccine, so you're going to agree to, it's putting into debt.
Yeah.
This is an old system. We're using it now in the guise of helping people.
Yeah.
So I'm looking into the vaccine, as I think a lot of people have. And when you look at how vaccines are made, I mean, the polio vaccine took 45 years.
Right.
The average testing they have, so the pattern of a vaccine, basically, I mean, most of them average at about 10 to 15 years, a vaccine. I think one of the quickest ones ever was 5 years. So the way it works is we have tissue samples. We sample on that can run from anywhere to 2 to 5 or more years. Then we'll use mice, say.
Yeah.
Then that'll run for years as well, so 2 to 5 years. Then we pick a group of the healthiest people there are, 100 of peak fitness, 20-year-old, no health problems, and we test on them for a few years. Then we will get a group of people from every walk of life, and then we test on them, and then we roll out to the public. So this is a thing that easily 20 years, that's nothing in the eyes of a vaccine. There's been none of this, no testing. There's also, so this vaccine is a different vaccine than has ever existed before. The general idea of a vaccine, which we all know pretty well, is that the antibody, so there's two types. One is when pretty much they put the small dose of the infection, germ, disease into you. Your body then uses that to create antibodies and fight it and prepares for when you get a proper dose.
Yep.
The other one is to basically use the antibodies. It's more or less the same thing, but this new concept is completely different. It's never been done before. It's proteins.
Right.
So it's proteins that have cells that mimic the virus.
Right.
Very different. So it doesn't mean, I'm not telling people don't go take the vaccine, I'm saying I would definitely become educated about it and give it some time, because we're seeing it roll out and it's not having great results so far in my opinion.
The reality of this.
One time. Oh, I'm trouble. I'm infection. So sudden. The deception. I'm humble. And pretension. Trying to juggle. My rejection. Try into my mind and you find that I'm gone. I'm long gone. On the ledge where you find me, I hide in the cold. Oh, all the restrictions get ordered with sickness. Just with sort of addicted to sort of my shit. Well, listen, get your hands up, pop it up, oh, gotta stop me, bust me, rough that group, coronavirus let us lonely island, alone or at home on a phony spiral. Dire straits try to take my legacy. Better be prepared when I air out my weaponry. Hey.
It might be a pandemic, but he don't panic.
Yeah, what? It's like Modayani laughing at Kamela Kaivakayam. Bucket up, gotta take a shot like Lakayam. I am double trouble bubble that I mean cannot be popped. Trying, couple of different strokes, no can't be stopped. Top of my game, but the bottom of the barrel. Apparel that I'm wearing is like I'm swearing at the pharaoh. I travel with a harem, you compare me to the pharaoh. My feet are so wide, but my path so narrow. Compete against time, but my mind's so shallow. Heart passes by road, far charge the power. Stupid as I'm moving and loosening Cupid's arrows. Hello. Everyone say it with me like Baruch Hashem. I took it here, took it there. Now let's look at him. We don't do like we used to. Boo-boo, watch as I go with the screw loose. You're just do-do-do-king a boo-boo. We the ones that flew right there over the cuckoo. When I get it, I'ma take my chance. Thank my fans, break my hands and just straight advance. When I do it, I'ma make him dance. Thank the Lord for support, then I break this trance. I I'm filled with attitude. I still got gratitude. I'm in a baddest mood for a dude that's at this latitude. Thanks for the stars, the moon, the sun. Thanks for the scars, the proof I won. Thanks for my sister and mother, brother and father, my daughter's a partner, and yes, of course, my son. Arigato. Guess I ain't my star, I tell you right now. It's muchos gracias, todo revoir. I don't know, I'm feeling fabulous. Now thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. What? Well, thank you, Lord. And yeah, we tell him like thank you, Lord. And yeah, we tell him like thank you, Lord. I said it, yeah. Baruch Hashem, we thank you, Lord. Yeah. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
The seal of Hashem is the seal of truth. His mark is the mark of truth. Because that He is the true God means that He really exists, and therefore all the reality that surrounds Him is just the reality of truth. That's
I mean, first thing I want to just give props to COVID is it's managed to crush all division, right? Except for one, because now there's only two type of people that exist in the world.
Yep.
Vaxxers and anti-vax, right? So like we've all been so amazing. We're all united. So it's halfway there. We've only got two groups now.
Yep.
I mean, I think anti-vax when it comes to any of this, it's very. We're going to talk about a few things, but anti-vax is even a strong term. My children are vaccinated. I want to be clear on that.
Okay, there you
so
go.
am I a person? Do I believe that the reptilian queen is plotting to depopulate us all? No. Oh, well, I'm just not going to get onto that. No, all right. But in all seriousness, I want to stick to what. It's very easy to get caught up. There's a million hours on YouTube of conspiracies and theories that have gone back. This is, Orwellian government and totalitarian control. But I don't want to talk on any just speculation, really just what we are witnessing
a bit
right now. And I talked a lot then. We were very early, really now looking at it. It's moved very quick with COVID, but we were early in the piece then.
Yep.
And I spoke a lot then about mandates, for things that were going to be connected to money, to payments, to a lot of stuff like this now is just blatant reality. Right? So as I said, you can witness patterns, and I'm again not talking conspiracy. I'm talking just blatant in your face patterns of how the government works, how the economy has to handle itself, all these things, right? You can see them in history, certain parallels, and they should ring alarms. When, right now, when all of this happened, there's something the reason I wanted to play that song, Let My People Go, about the Holocaust, is because, like I spoke of, there's a lot of parallels to how freedoms get taken away very subtly, tactics, right? When they start to be employed in the first world, and people are going to say, whoa, that's extreme. What are you saying? What am I saying? I'm talking about you don't have the right to earn a living if you don't take a vaccine.
Yeah.
Now, this is illegal. The issue I want to get at is we have people like doctors, very educated people, right? You don't become a health professional because you're a moron.
No.
You've got to be able to sit through. We've seen in history, because, all right, the Holocaust, maybe to me, I that might, bring back a different, picture. But to all of us, it really, nearly the whole world is only a degree of separation from somewhere being affected during that time in the world. But that's still irrelevant. Those patterns we all know are wrong. And when we see now these things that have happened very quickly, amounts of control that have been put in, particularly the doctors, straight away medical professionals, if the vaccine is, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is this: if due diligence has been done and time has been spent, the doctors are they're the people we listen to. So what I want them to do and what they should do is act off, like if the science is sound, then, and they're going to tell their patients to get this vaccine, then they believe in it, right?
Yeah.
That's so, literally, we live in the first world. We don't have to, this isn't the Gestapo or communist China. We don't have to put a law in. We don't have to get people to show their papers at the grocery. Do you know what I mean? But we don't have to put a law in for the doctors to do this, because they were going to do it anyway. They believe in it. So right then they should have spoke up. then go, no, of course, what we do is we're going to help you. We are the medical professionals. We're going to use the science that is right and show the public that this is the safest option, and they will do it off our common sense. Because in this country, we don't put in laws.
How did you hear about it first?
I'm not sure how I would have heard about it other than news, just various news sources.
Internet, that sort of thing?
Yeah, in China, and the words coronavirus and...
World is my oyster, I don't need shellfish, I'm selfish. Belt kids with belts, discipline they get dealt with. Repulsive, revolting, consulting with death cults. These are hexes, not insults, I've been dope. Suspenseful with a pencil, I'm the kick. The snare, hi-hat and the simple clap without catching it, snap. No distractions, a chat with bullshit talks and money walks so you can catch. Pandemic, COVID deploys the damn credits. We that Project Apocalypse, posse pandemic. Superior, bacteria, rap area. Hearing your inferiority complex when you hearing this. Victory is lickety split, fatality. Isn't we sick? COVID mentality, fallacy detectors through gazes. You catch a polygraph, polywaffle crunching. Wallies don't even want to start. It's that government mandate. The gloves on my hand, mate. Since lockdown, stop that regular plan. Say it's that COVID project. We the fan, mate. Blah.
Nearly 100,000 lives lost to the coronavirus pandemic in this country alone.
We can survive, yeah. Now we alive, yeah. No need to deny, we back to supply, yeah. Now we alive, yeah. We got the vibe, yeah. No need to deny, we back to supply, yeah.
Might not be able to get on a plane, you might not get on a bus without a certificate. So there is something else that's about to roll out. They've mentioning it on the news in regards, it's the first time they talked about it is in regards to the Sydney show. Sydney, like the Royal Adelaide show in Sydney. And it is a system that's called the green light, red light system. This is going to be coming in, this is what you're talking about. Yeah. So this system will literally have you, if you are vaccinated, you get a green light. If you're not vaccinated, red light. And at this point, they're testing it out and they're saying, oh, it's in the guise of who's vaccinated in the pavilion, but where that does lead and what is going to be tied to, are you allowed to go to the shops? Might start passively, like you have to shop online, this sort of thing, but that is the idea that is coming, is that yes, you actually won't be able to do these things with the vaccine. The other scary thing is, are they going to force people on welfare? I mean, for mothers on welfare, it's by law they must receive their money, be vaccinating their children, which I'm not saying I'm against or anything like that. It's just part of the law. So it's not a long stretch to see that when they're trying to roll this out, it might be a compulsory part, or you might be financially punished for not having the vaccine. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit concerning. I think we're going to see, we're about to have a whole lot come at once. So we'll see where it rolls out and how they do it. But depopulation is not just a theory, but has been spoken about by so many world leaders that, you go anywhere now on the internet and start putting it in and you will find a plethora of very important people who have said that is a potential goal, not here, but in the world that we need to do it. To think depopulation is the answer is absolutely ludicrous, because if you look at any country, anywhere in the world, 90% of it just about is empty space. Yeah. We live in very closed areas. Yeah. We talk about resources. We throw away more resources than to feed the whole world 100 times over. Just about probably daily.
There's two types that I see. One type is about 3 feet tall, very dark, very ugly, not humanoid at all.
This is lunacy, moonscape, lunar scenes, out of the stratosphere. This atmosphere's new to me. They call me Moonbeam, I'm moonwalking, planet hop. Skip asteroids across stars like massive spinner tops. Play cradle in the cradle of creation. Alienated from an alien nation. Symbiotic, bionic men in the cockpit. Quantum mechanics, my physics defy logic. This is space stuff, stardust, Kaiser belt. Colliding shells, big bang, an entire world. The sky I felt black as night, lost satellite. Became ethereal but never lost my appetite.
creatures that I have seen mostly have been the greys.
And when I say tall, I'm not talking 6 feet. I'm talking very tall, like 10 feet tall.
Usually about 3 to 4 foot tall. Real big, almond-shaped black eyes.
The face was oval. The being itself couldn't be more than 3 feet tall. It was sitting cross-legged at the top left-hand corner of my bed.
During this, what comes up is we have rebellion, right? And it's good for people to stand up for what they believe in if they feel they're being wronged, right? Of course. There's certain things that, that are different. When people are maybe going into town during a lockdown and protesting the lockdown, I might, I'm not saying I'm supporting that, really. I believe we have, but I'm not judging them either, because I understand when you've been in lockdown for a year, like in Victoria, it starts to get...
Officially the longest lockdown of any city, apparently.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get into Victoria because it ties into what we're
you
talking about.
You can't get
before.
into Victoria.
Well, So, look, there's footage and that is images that are coming out of Victoria. Absolutely terrifying stuff, right? Straight up police state, tanks, people being smashed to the ground in the street.
Was there tanks? I didn't see the tank.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, riot squad, hundreds of vans going through. It is absolute. We are talking about, you watch the footage, there's women being pulled to the ground that are obviously not protesters, people with knees in their face getting more. This is not, first off, what do the police have to do with fighting diseases, right? Isn't that doctors and scientists? And these people, why are they there? Let's not get confused. These tradies that have popped up are there because, they understand that they have that, because they're not in a field that's, if you're a health worker, the government can put in a mandate and you will be policed and you will get vaccinated. But if you're a contractor, a labourer who works off an ABN, it's much harder to force you to be vaccinated. And this is just true. This is why. And look, those people in the street are there because they have, even police are there to protect them. But no one's I don't think, when I watch the footage of what the police, Manhattan, shooting, they've got licensed, they're literally shooting rubber bullets at people. This is very severe. This isn't made up. When you watch that footage...
Not really Aussie, is it?
No. When we watch that footage, we are looking, this isn't communist China. We are the way the police have handled themselves in Melbourne, if you don't know, just because we're in South Australia, if you haven't seen it, you need to look and find out. If you're not aware and concerned, you haven't seen it yet. So once you see it and understand, you may get a bit, because where this force, and this is, in Melbourne, in the city, happening to just everyday civilians, it's very, very extreme. For Australia, this is pretty unprecedented, and it's ruthless. And it is so. I think something that we have to be aware of is that this pushes division, right? What's happened? We've created two people. There's only two people. Make no mistake, you're either pro-vax or non-vax, right? And then if you're pro-vax, all these people are trying to berate you with, that's because it's, the aliens, or it's this, or it's the go. So we are getting way lost, and then it goes into the level of madness, and we're not staying grounded. Are the police being brutal? Does that look like the footage of a police state? Yes. Does that is 100%? When I show my kids, is that similar to the footage of Tiananmen Square before they start squashing people? Yeah, it looks very, very similar.
Well, true, but it didn't go that far.
It didn't go that works. How quick your income can be taken away from you.
Right. Yes. True.
Before you have a say in it. This is why the mandates. There's always this theory that if we weren't forced to work, we wouldn't, because we're lazy, stupid, and inherently bad. This is not true. People get bored and they will find something to do. We are, by nature, we want to help people. We're not inherently bad. I believe we're inherently good and influenced the other way. People, you smile at a person, they're pretty hard pressed not to smile back at you. You give them kindness, eventually it'll come back to you. That's the more, and we are not idiots. We can think, we do care about other people. So I think just in this time, we've already been pitted against each other. The division is crazy. Then the next step is to obviously really push us against each other. And at the moment we have this sort of, let's fight the government. We have to understand rebellion is good, but we can't fight the government. Not just because they're going to come, but people have this idea like, the government's completely broken. Let's, but the thing is, we need someone to govern us because we are at the moment we're crooked. We need someone to make sure we keep things in line.
Yeah.
So the answer isn't to be anti. We are going to these extremes. No. The answer is to use common sense. To go, okay, well, we won't force people to do this. We're going to educate them because we're in the educated world. Where 90% of people read and write, and so we're going to give them the information. And it's scary times. This vaccine. I mean, we spoke before about this, where they would close down places. I mean, I have a lot of people, I understand, they say, you will get 70% vaccinated, and then once that's done, we'll open up borders. I get that theory, right, what they're trying to say, but people take this as like a thing, okay, so they're going out and doing it. Like, I have friends who are now, they work in the entertainment industry. They're, that's it. That is their bread and butter, that's all. And they've done it. All have rushed out to do it, even when they don't believe that it's the right thing to do. They've done it because, hey, we just want to get back to work.
Yep.
And look, the truth is, they were told, do this, you'll be back to work. They're not back to work. Yep. When I talk to them about it, they say, well, that's because we can't have 50,000. I say, well, that means the vaccine still didn't put you back, but they've managed to get you vaccinated. So they've presented like a truth that isn't true, that if you're vaccinated, you'll be back at work. No, if you're vaccinated, you'll have been vaccinated, but you're still not back at work until a whole bunch of other problems are sorted out.
Right.
And so, again, it's this we should be, if the vax is right, let's get the vax. But let's not bully people and use tactics of manipulation to do this. There was a lot ad on TV, ads all over the hospital says, roll up your sleeve. For the community, like hard yakko, because that's how we are in Australia. Roll up your sleeve and get the jab, right? For the community. Yeah. They themselves tell us the vaccine doesn't stop you being a carrier. The vaccine doesn't stop you from spreading it. The vaccine doesn't stop you from getting it. The vaccine, if anything, lessens the symptoms. So the only person I help is me. It doesn't stop me transmitting it. So let's remember, I didn't do anything to the community. I've just helped myself. Right? With a disease that's got like a 99% survival rate. It has a 90% survival rate for people who are 90 years old. If you're 90, you get the flu when you're 90, you may die. Like this, what happens, right? So, I mean, I'll take my chances. If this is a boxing match, I'll put my gloves on. We're good. I'm not that scared of that sort of. So these odds, it's so disproportionate. The reaction doesn't fit the problem. I've recently had a child. Yeah. I was in the hospital.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, Mazel Tov. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. So I was in the hospital and they said, all right, so what we want to talk to you about today is we are going to give you the whooping cough vaccination, we're going to give you the flu vaccination, and we're going to give you the COVID vaccine. Right? Which we said, no, we're good. And, the doctor then changed her tone a little bit and sort of says like, well, of course, because they think anti-vax, right? Yeah. Because this is the problem is if you are using your brain and say certain words, they become a trigger for cognitive dissonance, and I believe in spaceships. There needs to be a boundary between the two. Yep. So the doctor says to us, what's the problem? And I say, well, I've had a very bad reaction. This is true. I had a bad reaction to the whooping cough vaccination as a child. Was hospitalized, nearly died. Oh. Got whooping cough, was hospitalized for 2 years as a teen, so it didn't stop anything. In fact, I've got asthma for the rest of my life from this. Now, I'm still not anti-vax. Remember, my children are vaccinated. So I'm just trying to explain. So what I've said to her is like, not at this, because she's basically saying the only way you can get this into your baby is to have the vaccination now, right? Now that's scary stuff, right? She's a doctor. She tells me that, the science is pretty sound. She goes, we've got pretty good results. In 9 months? You don't have one baby that's 2 years old after having COVID in the fetal, and you want to tell me that's not science, right? That's not how we talked about it. Process is tissue sample 5 years, animal samples 5 years, a group of elite human beings that all have perfect health 5 years. 5 years minimum generally, and then a group of the general public 5 years, then goes public. Right. Vaccines take quick ones have been done in like 7 years, 15 years. Polio's 45 years, right? You can look, someone Googled the other day and said, no, look here, it's 27. I said, yeah, 27 in the processing part, but 45 in the whole release and run out. But there's no time's been put into this. We have jumped every step. The process of you don't have. If it's right, like I said, if the science is right, if people are dying, I've been in hospital all this year because of having a child, the hospitals are not overrun. The only place they're overrun is where they have COVID vaccine clinics.
Okay, yeah,
right. There's not people falling out of the bed, not people that like literally. There's just it's crazy.
Like, we got just these ramping in the hospitals, and there's nothing going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing going on, but we've got this. People are waiting 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
What would happen if we started to have the pandemic at a level?
You're right. This is
like,
hysteria,
hello?
right? That's a point of hysteria. When we are. Everywhere you go, I go into the shop to buy something to eat. The radio is telling me about how many people are vaccinated. This many cases in Sydney.
Yep.
In Sydney, they're having 1,400 cases one day, 900 cases another day. And they've been in lockdown this whole time. So, is lockdown working?
Yep.
Right, to get right there up to 80% vaccinated. They are having all sorts of complications and their hospitals are full of people. The same as there are people, the amount of deaths that are happening now from the people who have been vaccinated.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the vax isn't once. You need to get... So, I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying understand what you're doing. If you step in and get this vax, you're going to have it again and again, right? Through this whole period, for however long this is going on.
Yep.
So people should just be aware of what the steps are.
You can have your home taken away. You can have your job taken away. You can probably have all your money taken away. You can have your freedoms taken away. There's...
we've seen it. We're having our freedoms taken away.
You can put your hand up and say, hey, this is not right, but...
Yeah, true.
What's the difference between communism and capitalism?
At this point, we have to look at the symptoms. Are the symptoms the same?
Yeah.
Sure, it might have a different title, but are we not just going through the exact same thing?
Hey, we've got a rock and roll. I love your passion. We're going to have a listen to here. Where am I from?
It's already, where I'm from. It's Australia, South Coast, I guess, yeah.
Try and die to sever friends and ties. You'll get lied to. They're gonna fry you and hang you out to dry if you try to be dangerous.
Several violent brawls.
Last night there was up to 50 youths gathered in this particular area when police were called around 8 o'clock.
First things first, a few words about where I'm from.
In Adelaide South.
Sleepy little town, you can tell something wrong.
It's a scary proposition.
Not a place to visit, listen to this song.
Articulating that it's about.
And we'll tell you what's going on now. Trying to make bank, bodies involved. Trying to buy dank, robbing's a cult. When you buy meth, there's domestic assault. And when they got left, it would never be solved. In the midst of a missing person's case, they never got searched for. Bliss is the ignorance that we yearn for. Wish life was worth more. See in this place, death no sin. And you're only as deep as the depth they put you in. All these dead beats here, they're my next to kin. And their hearts don't pump when their pulse so thin. Cause something very different where I'm from. You can't
getting thrown onto the ground. Like it was terrible.
Punches and bottles being thrown between two groups.
Turned into a major brawl. Dozens of police called in to help control the crowd. 2 people were arrested over the fight as shocked locals watched on.
Suspense. Shots down the deli, the bathroom, all around the place. It's covered, spread, covered all over the place. You know, and revenge. It's contagious. Social distance this. You'll be infected. 1.25 meters. It's sanitizer.
To evacuate the area and clear any COVID warriors in the whole zone.
Watch
They knew they had a mission on their hands.
or taste the lead.
Hi. Yeah, sir. We got to tell you this, make sure.
This summer, the COVID marshal in. What's that over there?
Look, part of why we wanted to play that song too is because we learn a big lesson from the Holocaust.
Yeah.
It's something that has shaped how we look at the world since on a whole, you know, all of us, particularly in Western society, I guess. And there's some telltale signs that weren't seen at the time. People a lot of the time think, okay, how did they march these people into ovens and gas chambers? How did you get people to do this?
Yeah.
How did you get the people to turn on the people they were living with? You know,
lying to them for a start.
Well, that's right, propaganda. But very subtle is how you use certain things to change the perception. If you change the perception of something or someone, you're able to manipulate the behaviour and you know, cause division. Why I think that's so relevant is, I mean, we're going through some stuff like that. Obviously, it's all about collective consciousness and unconsciousness.
Yeah.
You understand that 90% of everything we do comes from your unconscious. You are basically governed by a person you're not dealing with. You're not really aware of 90% of all your actions. It's coming from another place.
True.
So it's like having some, you know, foreign entity there just making decisions for you and you're just along for the ride. So learning that when people have used manipulation, if you're going to create propaganda and sway opinion, it's very important to understand how to tap into the unconscious.
Totally.
We have a hive, a collective consciousness,
Yep.
and we will all guide our thoughts towards what is comfortable and what is being presented to us if it's done right. And we see a lot of that. A lot of what I want to get into a bit today
is it the hardest thing in the world, I think, to forgive. Really forgive.
There is no forgiveness without rage. You gotta go through the rage.
They call me Udin, Jesus killer, I'm still a kite. Cost of the Holocaust, lost 6 million lives, atrocity that's denied. You should try blood Auschwitz, and if you're not sick, give me what's in my pockets, and that's a lot, cause we all know Jews are stingy, unathletic, Semitic, are always whinging. We dress funny, talk funny, act funny, and we keep to ourselves and always protect our money, and we murder Mashiachs, and we cause when he be back, and we going to hell in the church. Really believe that? It seems that the people of the book been overlooked, overturned, overshadowed by our culture that they took. No wonder why then we don't want to be under him. Succumb to the will of their king, where he plundering. And Shem said no go before me, they all under him and back, back. Told us all get back, back. Said they taking nah, nah. And he told them, let my people go. We back up again, the heart of a lion from the tribe of Judah. Wisdom and Shlomo Melech and Emunah. I won't say Rabbeinu, Abraham Avinu, or Rosh Hashanah gonna hear the shofar that we blew. Horn sounds of freedom as we leave Mitzrayim. To Eretz HaKodesh, beneath Shemayim. My people who wrestled angels and slay giants. Shema Yisrael, we display our defiance. But now you're dumb, and I came to drop science. Back, back, and they told us back, back. We said we won't take that, that. And he told them, let my people go. We back up again. Never forget, you better get back. We're no victims. If ever again it's looking like that, we go win some. Tyrants that gave us our longevity. Who is Holocaust survivors, their arms are on jeopardy. Jewish people sing the truest evil and came to it all just to succeed as we do. Boarding the coaches, they thought of us as roaches. Extermination as the station approaches. The scripts that I write depict the Yiddish kind. You can't finish life, see we didn't die. I'm a child of Yakov, well so you can back off. See we survived, you should all take your hats off. You should all take your hats off.
Break free. Break free, great Aryan. There are no weak Jews. I am descended from those who wrestle angels and kill giants. We were chosen by God. We were chosen by pathetic little men who can't even grow a full moustache. Stronger race, huh?
Forgiveness is not about me forgiving you for what you did to me. I don't have that kind of a godly power.
2 workers tested positive to COVID-19.
They will have to self-isolate for 2 weeks.
Project, yep. COVID. What? Love from Madagascar. Now the shit. One time. Thumbs, you should batter me not. I'm running your cake while you're rattling on. Your faculties are fallacy, your fascio's gone. Bada bing when I'm battering up. Falls and better things ain't none of you want. Bucket to old duckery, I'm mucking your mop. Fucking you up, you're ducking on what? Stuck in your other clockers like I'm stuffing your guts. Brain name, red tape, let's say it takes 9 months, chest day, estimate. When the rest ain't straight, pesticide, best of let's stay base. Step aside, when it step sideways. Rip aside, place the lights all day, all day, all day. East side demons, feast like Eden. Increase the freedom, police me to feed them. Scheming your face, beating the court case. Misleading the jury of my peers, poor saints. All thanks to the liquor. Feeling slow in a ticker bar. Soiree in the river, baptize you until you give it up. Give it up. Where you from? 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 COVID project. They say COVID project. They say COVID project. Don't dance with the left. When you stand nothing left. Put your hands in the air. And we play right, yeah. And we play right, yeah. And we play right, yeah. With that fan right there. Perfect project, yeah, right there. What I got stuck, let blow. Where you at, bro? Let blow.
Confirmed cases in South Australia, self-isolating, and we've now tested and have forwarded those tests. I can't give you exact age ranges, unfortunately, because of confidentiality.